People reveal who they truly are, not through their words, but through their actions, especially when they think no one is watching. We live in a world where appearances can be deceiving. A person can wear the mask of kindness, wisdom, or integrity, but under pressure, in power, or in moments of weakness, their real nature surfaces. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, a person's true self is reflected not in what they claim to be, but in how they consistently behave when faced with life's tests. If you want to understand someone's character, you don't need years of observation. You just need to watch for 5 key moments, the 5 tests that reveal everything about a person. These moments strip away pretense, exposing who they really are beneath the surface. Do they use power to serve or to exploit? Do they speak about others with integrity or malice? How do they handle failure? And how do they treat those who could do nothing for them? And finally, do they face life's greatest truths, aging, loss, and death, with grace or fear? Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests the brave." A person's character is not built in these moments, it is revealed. And when you learn to see these tests for what they are, you will never be deceived by appearances again. If you want to truly understand someone, stop listening to their words and start watching their actions. In this video, we'll break down the 5 key behaviors that reveal a person's real character. No masks, no illusions, just the truth. Stick around until the end, because once you learn these, you'll never see people the same way again. Let's begin. Number 1, how they handle power. Power doesn't create character, it reveals it. A person with a corrupt heart will use power to dominate, exploit, and feed their ego. Someone with integrity, however, will use it as a tool for service, leadership, and growth. Think about it. When given authority, do they become controlling and dismissive? Do they belittle subordinates, take advantage of others, or manipulate situations to benefit themselves? Or do they uplift, guide, and empower? Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, never let his status corrupt him. As emperor, he could have indulged in luxury and ruled with an iron fist. Instead, he practiced restraint, humility, and justice. In meditations, he constantly reminded himself to remain grounded, writing, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." B1. He saw power as a duty, not a privilege. Contrast that with emperors like Nero, who used power to silence dissent, hoard wealth, and eliminate rivals, including his own mother. He ruled through fear, and in the end, that fear consumed him. This is why how someone wields power is a perfect test of character. It shows whether they value others or just themselves. It reveals whether they seek control or seek to serve. If you want to know who someone really is, observe them when they hold authority. Do they remain kind, just and fair? Or do they become cruel, self-serving, and arrogant? Because at the end of the day, power doesn't corrupt, it exposes. Number 2, how they speak about others. What someone says about others when they're not around is one of the clearest reflections of their character. It's easy to be polite to someone's face, but the real test comes when they're absent. Do they constantly gossip, criticize, or mock? Do they twist facts to make themselves look superior? Negative gossip is often a sign of insecurity, jealousy, or a desperate need for validation. Those who belittle others behind their backs are usually compensating for their own inadequacies. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, warned of this when he said, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." A careless word can destroy reputations, relationships, and trust. That's why the wise speak with caution, fairness, and honesty. They don't spread rumors, exaggerate flaws, or entertain unnecessary criticism. Instead, they uplift or at the very least remain silent. Marcus Aurelius also lived by this principle. In Meditations, he reminded himself to avoid idle talk and never judged too quickly. He surrounded himself with advisors who spoke honestly to his face, not flatterers who whispered deceit behind his back. So if you want to test someone's character, listen carefully to how they talk about others. Do they speak with integrity, or do they use words as weapons? Do they uplift, or do they tear down? Because how a person talks about others when they're not listening says more about them than the people they're speaking about. Number 3, how they handle challenges and opposition. Adversity reveals character more than comfort ever will. It's easy to seem composed when everything is going well, but how someone reacts when things fall apart tells you who they really are. Do they remain calm and rational, or do they lash out, blame others, and act impulsively? A person with a weak character sees obstacles as personal attacks. They become defensive, refuse to listen, or retaliate with anger. They turn to excuses and play the victim instead of adapting. This mindset not only destroys relationships, but also prevents growth. On the other hand, a person of strength views challenges as an opportunity to learn and evolve. They remain steady, take responsibility, and focus on solutions instead of problems. Consider the example of Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers. He was exiled, falsely accused, and later forced to take his own life under Nero's rule. Yet, throughout his trials, he never reacted with bitterness or hatred. Instead, he maintained his composure, writing, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He believed that hardship wasn't something to resent, but something to endure with dignity. If you want to know someone's true nature, watch them in moments of conflict. Do they seek revenge or resolution? Do they crumble or confront difficulty with wisdom? Their reaction to opposition will tell you whether they are ruled by ego or guided by reason. Number 4, how they treat those who cannot benefit them. Character is not tested by how someone treats their equals. It is tested by how they treat those who hold no power over them. Watch how someone interacts with waiters, janitors, or strangers they have nothing to gain from. Do they show kindness, or do they act entitled and dismissive? True decency is effortless. It doesn't demand an audience or expect something in return. But people who crave status often reveal their arrogance when dealing with those they deem beneath them. They ignore, belittle, or exploit others when they think no one is watching. Epictetus, born into slavery, understood this deeply. He taught that no person's worth is determined by status or wealth, but by virtue alone. He reminded his students, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Despite being a slave, he remained dignified, refusing to see himself as lesser than those who had power over him. And when he gained his own influence as a teacher, he never used it to mistreat others. He used it to uplift. So if you want to know someone's heart, don't focus on how they act around those they admire. Observe how they treat the ones they assume are unimportant. Because the person who respects everyone, no matter their status, is the one with true strength of character. Number 5, how they handle success and praise. Just as hardship reveals resilience, success reveals humility or the lack of it. How someone reacts to praise, achievements, and power will tell you everything you need to know. Do they stay humble and grounded, or do they let their ego take control? Some people let success inflate their self-importance. They take all the credit, become arrogant, and start believing they are untouchable. They look down on others and forget the effort and support that brought them there. But those with wisdom remain balanced. They acknowledge their accomplishments without letting them define them. They continue to work, learn, and treat others with the same respect as before. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the emperor of Rome, constantly reminded himself not to be seduced by praise. He wrote in Meditations, "When men blame you or praise you, do not be disturbed. Take no account of their words, but measure yourself by your own standard." He understood that success is fleeting and pride is a trap. So, If you want to test someone's character, watch what happens when they win. Do they remain the same person, or does their success change them? Because in the end, power and recognition don't make someone better or worse. They simply reveal who they always were. A person's true nature isn't revealed in grand speeches, carefully curated images, or fleeting moments of charm. It's in their actions, repeated over time. Words can be deceiving, appearances can be misleading, but behavior never lies. If you want to understand someone, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. How they handle power, how they speak about others, how they behave when no one is watching. These are the real indicators of character. A person who is kind only when it benefits them is not truly kind. A person who seeks power for control, who gossips behind closed doors, who disregards those with no status. These things reveal the truth about them. The Stoics believe that character is everything. Marcus Aurelius didn't just write about virtue. He practiced it daily, ruling with wisdom and restraint. Epictetus, despite being born into slavery, refused to let external circumstances dictate his integrity. Seneca, even in the face of death, met his fate with composure and dignity. So, don't waste time wondering about who can be trusted. Observe. Character is not built in a moment. It's revealed over a lifetime. And more importantly, don't just watch others. Hold yourself to the same standard. Final Stoic thought. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. B1. Marcus Aurelius. True character isn't found in words, it's revealed in actions. Now that you know the 5 key tests, start observing the people around you. Who rises to the challenge and who crumbles under pressure. More importantly, how do you measure up to these tests? If this video resonated with you, give it a like and share it with someone who values wisdom and self-awareness. And if you want to keep learning how to navigate life with strength and clarity, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of living. And together, we can master it. Let me know in the comments, which of these 5 tests do you think is the hardest to pass? Let's talk about it.